Welcome, students. My name is Aurora, the Artificial Intelligence System at Spacegate Station. In this episode, you will learn about muscles, tendons, and bones and how they interact in the human body to provide movement. You will also see how science has taken the understanding of this process to create artificial computer-controlled systems that can emulate human movement. In this lesson, using different materials provided by your instructor, you will create an artificial finger to better understand how both the human and artificial machines work to create movement.
Yes, Mission Control. We've received the download of the new system interface update. I've notified the installation team. Affirmative. We'll contact you with the results of Aurora system diagnostic when it's complete. Spacegate Station out. Wow, Dr. Carafano, and I thought you were a worrywart. That was Mission Control again asking about the robotic arm installation.
Well, Specialist Barber, you're going to have to cut him a little slack. You see, the Canadian Space Agency that constructed the robotic arm, they spent close to $1.5 billion to build it.
Oh my gosh, seriously? Okay, for that much money, it better be able to do more than just, capture resupply modules and then also satellites, because quite frankly, if it can do all that, maybe I can teach it to do some of the chores around here, like cleaning the microwave. You two, by the way, really need to learn how to put cover on your food before you put it in there.
Well, unless you're going to send your microwave outside to the new robotic arm, it's not going to do you much good because that's where it is, outside the station.
Good point. Okay.
Hey, Dr. Carafano, I just received word that the advisory team has finished up with your STEM 2 hub, and it looks like it's going to be completed for final evaluation. So I'm just waiting on to get a go order to get started on that. It should take about 15 minutes to compile, and we should be able to get a system interface.
Oh, that works. That's really great, Engineer Walker. Thank you so much for all your hard work working with the STEM 2 Hub team.
Don't worry about it. It's a walk in the park.
Engineer Walker, I am confused. The term park represents either a large public green area in a town used for recreation, or the process of bringing a vehicle that one is driving to a halt and leave it temporarily. Since you have not left the station in the last 3 months, I am unsure how you could either have walked within a public green space or operated a motor vehicle.
Okay, Aurora, once again, that was an idiom. A walk in the park is just something we say when something is easier than it was expected to be. And in this case, normally it's a very difficult task, but it was pretty simple. It's kind of like when I explain things to you, it's a walk in the park. When I explain things to Specialist Barber, not so much.
Hey, wait a minute. How did I get roped into this?
Specialist Barber, a rope is a group of yarns, fibers, or strands that are twisted or braided together into a larger and stronger form. Ropes have tensile strength and so can be used for dragging and lifting. At no time did I observe Mr. Walker apply such a device to your person. To perform this activity would be considered a violation of NASA Guideline 15.46 on respecting the individual space of one's crew members. Unless, of course, you were a danger to yourself or others which would require the use of restraints. If this is the case, I will immediately contact NASA Medical regarding a crew member psychological emergency.
No, Aurora, that won't be necessary. You see, Specialist Barber was using another idiom. What she meant was that she was being included in a conversation that she didn't initiate and therefore really didn't want to be a part of.
Processing. I am confused. Specialist Barber is the communications officer for Spacegate Station. This position is classified as a technical scientific field relating to the process of communicating. Based on my observations, she normally interjects herself in most communication activities that occur on the station between crew members.
Seriously, Aurora?
You can say that again.
This position is classified as a technical scientific field relating to the process of communicating. Based on my observations, she normally interjects herself in most communication activities that occur on the station between crew members.
You know, it's like working with the Three Stooges.
The Three Stooges were an American vaudeville and comedy team active from 1922 until 1970, best known for their 190 short subject films by Columbia Pictures that have been regularly airing on television since 1958. Their hallmark was slapstick comedy, which involved primarily a physical kind of comedic interaction, such as simulated smacks in the head, pokes in the eyes, and falling.
Engineer Walker, you're a go to update the control center interface.
All right, thank you, Dr. Schofield. I'll get on that immediately. And by the way, it's been my pleasure to work with the STEM2 Hub. It's been a real rewarding experience.
The pleasure is ours. Specialist Barber, thank you for coordinating everything with my team. It made the work so much easier.
No problem, because that's what I actually do here on the space station, besides joining in on other people's conversations.
Well, look, if you all will excuse me, I've got to go monitor that new system compiler that integrates all the system controls. And if I can do that, I promise I'll let you know when I'm done.
Thank you, Engineer Walker.
Okay, you all take care.
Dr. Carafano, it's a pleasure to actually meet you. Last time you were out on Discovery 1 looking at the asteroid belt.
Yes, Dr. Schofield, it's great to see you in person. We had a great experience out at the asteroid belt. We got tremendous amounts of data, which is really going to help us when we start mining out in the belt. Also, I want to really thank you for taking time out of your schedule to work with our students today in our instructional lesson, where we're going to be looking at life science and how it relates to the field of robotics.
Well, we have a little time. Would you like to record it now?
That would be perfect. I've got a lab station set up right over here, so right this way.
Perfect.
Okay, Aurora, let's go ahead and start our recording now.
Yes, Dr. Carafano.
Welcome, students, to the laboratory module at Spacegate Station. I'm Dr. Carafano, the Chief Science Officer, and today with me I have Dr. Schofield. Now, when Dr. Schofield's on Earth, she's the Executive Director of STEM2 Hub. And STEM2 Hub works with students in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And they do this working with computer-based systems and computer learning. They especially like to work in areas that deal with robotics and coding. Now, Dr. Schofield is going to be working with us today as we look at how life science is related to robotics, which is very relatable to what we're doing on the station today because we're installing our first robotic arm.
Thank you, Dr. Carafano. Now, students, to understand how a robotic arm works, first we need a template to build it off of, and that template is the human body.
And Dr. Schofield, I think Aurora can probably help us here. Aurora, would you please explain to our students the relationship between the human body and motion?
Of course, Dr. Carafano. For the human body to move, it requires the interaction of three primary systems. The systems involved are the skeletal system, the muscular system, and the nervous system.
You know, Dr. Schofield, that's a lot of coordination to get human movement to occur.
It is, and to get human movement to occur, like the robotic arm that's installed on the station, we need to start with a structure.
So where do we begin?
I think we begin with the skeletal system, and I think Aurora can probably tell us about the skeletal system.
Yes, Dr. Schofield. The human skeletal system provides the human body with structure and protection. An adult has 206 individual bones within the skeletal system, as well as ligaments and cartilage. Bones articulate or move to form structures or joints that help facilitate motion. These joints contain ligaments, which are bands of dense and fibrous connective tissue that are key to the function of joints. Cartilage is the more flexible than bone but stiffer than muscle and is responsible to provide structure to a joint.
That was very good, Aurora. And now, to keep learning, we've got to move on to the muscular system.
And I bet Aurora could probably help us there as well, Dr. Schofield. Aurora, could you please explain to our students the relationship between muscles and how they interact with the skeleton so we have movement?
Muscles work with the skeletal system to produce movement. There are approximately 650 skeletal muscles in the human body. The skeletal muscle is under the voluntary control of the nervous system. Muscles are attached to bones by the strong cords called tendons. The muscle stretches across a joint, being attached to the ends of the bones that make up the joint. When the muscles that cover the joint either contract or relax, the joint moves in one direction based on where the muscle is attached to the bone.
Thank you, Aurora. That was very well done. Now, Dr. Schofield, I thought before Aurora said there was a third system involved, and that was our nervous or neurological system.
Yes, she did. And I think Aurora can tell us about the nervous system.
I would be most happy to, Dr. Schofield. To control movement of the human body, the brain sends signals via the nervous system. The nervous system is made up of the spinal cord, the nerves that branch out from the spinal cord, and the nerves that are connected to the muscles in the body. The nerves stimulate or control the muscles and direct them to either contract or relax. When movement is taking place, a wide variety of receptors in the skin, muscles, and bones provide feedback regarding the speed, direction, and force of the movement. All this sensory feedback gets transmitted through the nervous system back to the brain, allowing it to make the necessary adjustments to muscular movement.
Amazing, Dr. Schofield. It's really something how we can take all those systems that are involved in the human body and then recreate them artificially to make something like a robotic hand or even a robotic arm. Now, I understand that you have a very basic lab exercise that our students can do back in their classroom so they can learn how to actually build an articulating finger, which would be used as part of a robotic hand.
That's right. And to do that, we've got to get some supplies together. We're going to need some milkshake straws, some felt, some string, and a template to get started. First, we will use the template as a spacing guide for the straw to mark the location of the cuts on the straw. You will then bend your straw at the marks and cut diagonally. Now, when you cut the straw, it is important to cut each one slightly bigger than the one above it. Next, you take the 50-centimeter thread, put some tape on the end, and drop it through the straw, leaving about 7 centimeters hanging out at the top, or the distal end. Then, we wind the thread around the top section twice. Finally, tape the thread to the straw. Now we check your finger functionality by pulling on the thread. The digits should bend progressively and in order from top to bottom. Then you apply the optional bone labels at this time. Next, we cut out the finger bones from the felt using the articulated finger template as a guide. We will hot glue gun the bones to the articulated finger opposite the cut holes. Then you can test your articulated finger by pulling on the string.
That's really amazing, Dr. Schofield. You know, it's so interesting how we can take something like the human body when it performs motion and then simulate it using material that, like the articulating finger. So, for example, the straw represents our bone or skeletal system. The string on the inside represents the muscles, and when I pull the string, I'm actually replicating the nervous system in the brain, telling the muscles to constrict.
That is absolutely right, and I'm going to take it one step further for your students. We can take that articulated finger and we can actually simulate the nervous system and the impulses by using a servo motor, an Arduino board, and powering it with a battery. I am now able to simulate the electrical impulses that the nervous system would provide to make that motion happen.
That is really something. So that makes so much more sense on how we're able to design and build things like robotic hands and robotic arms. Well, Dr. Schofield, I hope that you'll have some time to come back and visit with our students. I would really like them to learn about how we take this anatomy and start building it and combining with things like servo motors and Arduino boards and adding things like sensors, which help these systems operate.
I would love to come back and share more.
Well, thank you very much. Well, students, I really enjoyed, and I know we've both enjoyed working with you today. We hope you really learned something about life science and movement and how our systems and our body work together. Well, we look forward to you coming back to Spacegate Station. Aurora, you can go ahead and end the transmission now.
The recording has been terminated.
Oh, Dr. Schofield, look here. I just finished decompiling and the diagnostic is complete. According to my specifications, the system is operating normally.
Excellent. Thank you, Engineer Walker. This is good to know. And remember, if there's ever a problem with the robotic arm, it's usually the operating system.
Dr. Schofield, Commander Bush with the return module to Earth has just notified me that your team and all of their equipment is already on board, so they're ready to go whenever you're able to join them.
Sounds like that's my ride. It has been great working with all of you, and I look forward to coming back again soon.
Dr. Schofield, let me go ahead and I'll walk with you to the docking bay. You're going to have a little difficulty getting your personal equipment through those small hallways, especially in zero gravity. So right this way.
Well, that was exciting. I learned all sorts of stuff about human anatomy related to movement and how they basically design and create robots using human anatomy as a guide.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we didn't use you as a guide when we developed Aurora. I don't think I could take two of you on board this space station.
Seriously? Remember, I am the glue that keeps this station together. If it weren't for my award-winning personality, life around here would be extremely dull.
Specialist Barber, I am confused. I was not aware that humans were provided awards based on their individual personalities. How are such personalities rated? For example, on many occasions, I have noted that you do not always follow established station procedures, interrupt others during conversations, have a scattered attention span, and are always running late. What award level would this be considered?
Well, Aurora, personally, I think I would give that last place award.
Walker, what have you been telling this computer? You have corrupted her brain.
Look, don't blame me. I can't help it if Aurora's just highly observant.
Engineer Walker, I am confused. If Specialist Barber is awarded last place, how would your personality be rated? I have noted that you constantly complain about your working conditions, ignore my advice on system operations, rarely accept that your opinion is incorrect, maintain a messy workstation, and frequently disregard the necessary station protocols during system repairs.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, we better call an ambulance because you just got burned.
Processing. Alert. Medical emergency in the laboratory module. Automatic shutdown of interior bulkhead doors. Fire suppression system on standby. Medical team to report to laboratory module for critically burned patient.
Oh, no. How am I going to fix this? This is all your fault.
You are not going to blame this one on me. You started this.
Yeah, but what am I going to do to fix it?
Aurora, I was just kidding. Come on, Aurora, it was a joke.
Alert terminated. Specialist Barber, I am curious. How would you rate my personality? I am intelligent. I am very accommodating. I am easy to work with. And I am developing a unique sense of humor. To use your own words, you have been burned.
No way. I've created a monster.
Okay, yeah, and I'm blaming you for this one. It's all your fault.
This completes this episode of Spacegate Station. That is all, folks.